Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin here towards the weekly candle close. I mean, typically we see a little bit of volatility towards this time, but yeah, it seems like Bitcoin took the weekend off, off on holiday really. I hope it's back soon because it's been extremely boring. We are moving in this triangle. There are two options. I mean, that is unchanged. By the way, in this video, I would like to take a look at the indicators as well. So we talk about the short-term price action first, and we take a look at indicators, longer time frame indicators as well, to try to understand where we are with them, and would they support the idea that the bear market low is already in? As my view is that the bear market low is in. However, I don't have a very strong opinion on this. It's more like I'm leaning towards this. Because of several reasons discussed in previous videos, the wave structure and so on. At this point, I would not be too surprised if we see another bear market low. I always have to say that. But as long as we are holding relevant support levels, which are bullish, so the bullish support levels, I'm leaning towards further upside, and we do not see the November lows anymore. Okay, so that's been my view for a while now. But I also have to say that the structure isn't that crystal clear that I could really confirm to you that we will not get another bear market low. But it is currently, the structure is defined in a way that I can say I'm leaning towards we're not getting one. We take a look if the indicators support that, okay? But here on the short time frame, the idea is still, obviously, for any new viewers, that we are in this wave 2 correction, possible target around 25.3K, roughly in that area, and we're in a triangle. Yeah, we're sort of getting squeezed here shortly. The idea is, this could be an Elliott Wave triangle highlighted in orange, which would sell off to the downside, or it could be this ending diagonal highlighted in yellow. Both would sell off, but the condition is that we stay below 27,700. I'm not controlling the market, but I can tell you that as long as we stay below that level, these two wave counts are valid and, in my opinion, the likely ones. A break above 27,700 would possibly unlock prices all the way up to round about 30K. There are a few different structures that can play out then. We don't have to go that way. And we're going to deal with that in more detail if we really break above 27.7K. I did explain all of that in previous videos, but for now, because we are staying below that level, I'm short-term bearish and would expect further downside or first sideways action to get this triangle complete, and then a sell off. But again, above 27.7K, other scenarios come into play. We have to change our view. Elliott Wave, one key advantage is that Elliott Wave gives us the objective levels where we have to turn around and focus on other scenarios. That's one of the biggest benefits of Elliott Wave. The problem here on this chart at the moment is because of these sideways structures we have and the corrective structures, there are probably like 3, 4, or even 5 scenarios that I find likely. That is a problem. I mean, typically I try to really boil it down to 2, maybe 3, but we have 4 or 5 scenarios here. The good thing is that Elliott Wave analysis allows me to understand, okay, what's the invalidation point for the immediate sell-off scenarios, either ending diagonal in yellow or the orange triangle, which would also sell off to the downside after the E-wave peaks. It allows me to understand what's the invalidation point. That's 27.7K. So I can make it very easy for myself. I can say, okay, we've got 2 bearish setups here, and they are valid as long as we stay below that level. And we're not far away from that level anyway. There is one bullish setup. I highlighted that as well. There's a possible so-called 1-2 setup here, but that would be a diagonal pattern. It's not high confidence, but anybody who wanted to trade this, there you go. There's your 1-2 setup, which could go higher, but that will be invalidated below the B wave low at 26,430 roughly. Yeah. Okay. At the moment, the idea is that we sell off further. I mean, that I just posted that actually on Telegram, that this looks like a C wave down is going to follow. Seems like this is happening just now, so that hopefully helped a few people. Come on, didn't want to do that. And we looked in the previous video at a possible target for the D-wave low. And let's just refresh that. That D-wave low is at 26,460, pretty much, yeah. Now we don't have to get there. It's more like a guideline. It's more like a level to watch. And eventually, if this is a triangle, we would expect one more higher low and then one more lower high, and then we could sell off. Okay, so I think that structure is clear. There's not much new stuff to talk about. What I wanted to do, I wanted to take a look at the indicators. First of all, starting with the monthly. We don't look at them very often, but remember what I said early last year. Unbelievable, it's been a year already. When we looked at the chart and I said, well, ideally, we get this correction done quickly, but there's one thing which would rather confirm a longer bear market, and that was the monthly MACD on the Bitcoin chart. And I remember last year we were just crossing bearish and it had such a long way to go. And the good news is that from September last year, this has started to decrease negative momentum. And we are about to get a bullish crossover, maybe in a few months. Yeah? And whenever that happened before on the chart here, and I think I switched to the log chart, you see the waves a little bit better. Whenever that happened before on the Bitcoin chart, that we had a bullish crossover on the monthly MACD, or even reducing negative or reduction of negative momentum, I think we never made a new low afterwards, right? So we had that situation here that was in 2019. We had that situation here, which was in 2020. Yeah, we always made higher lows afterwards. And we now have the same situation. And we come from a much, much lower level this time. That could give you an idea of the potential that's coming. So from that point of view, the monthly MACD, in my opinion, confirms the view that the bear market low is already in, unless it crashes down now. Yeah, but also looking at the relative strength index, also here we had a bullish crossover that was back in 2019. Here we had a little bit back and forth, but in the end also a bullish crossover in 2020. And we just had another bullish crossover. So it really only happened a few times. And whenever that happened, we had rising prices afterwards. One more indicator that's interesting is the weekly chart. And here on the weekly, that's one which is short-term a bit bearish, I think, because look at the MACD. This is just turning down positive momentum. And also on the relative strength index, we had a bearish crossover. So that's a little bit bearish, where I say, okay, that could mean that over the next few weeks, that this correction, even though it might mean, we might only get one more low, maybe around 25K, maybe a little lower, but that it could take a while to play out. So that does not indicate yet that we are heading to the upside. So that's rather bearish, the weekly, whereas in my opinion, the monthly is actually rather bullish. The monthly is more meaningful in my opinion. And also on the daily chart here, in my opinion, rather neutral at the moment. We're in the bearish range. However, on the RSI, and the MACD is also below zero, but it's reducing negative momentum. So on the daily chart, again, rather neutral, I think. But the negative momentum is reducing, but it doesn't have the power yet to turn to the upside. So again, that could also indicate just a little bit further downside until on the daily we are really oversold. Now, on the daily, I think this can turn bullish when we are getting close to the oversold region. So basically the weekly is sort of in line with my view about the daily, that on the daily chart, I said that many times before, ideally I would like to get the daily to 30, because that has in the history usually indicated significant swing lows. We can see that also quite nicely here. For example, here last time we were oversold. Well, one oversold reading was here in November, significant low, and one oversold reading was in March, significant low. Yeah, so these are significant swing lows that certainly were indicated by an oversold reading on the RSI. We had it here as well in June 22. Didn't take it to significantly new highs, but it was quite a bit of a rally. Then we had it here as well. It was June. That was here in May. Okay, there was a bit of a rally, but nothing significant. Now, it doesn't happen 100% of the time. Here we had a nice rally as well. So it typically indicates significant swing lows here as well. Back in May as well. Yeah, we had significant rallies afterwards. So I think the daily could nearly turn bullish, will turn bullish soon when we get a little bit more oversold. The weekly is basically in line with that because the weekly could sell off further. It has space to the downside, a bit weak here, the weekly. But that's good because that could bring the daily down, which would then indicate an oversold reading. And the monthly, generally, medium term, long term, indicates that a bottom could really be in. So that is basically in line with my analysis, which is good. So I do observe these always in the background. I don't show them in every video because it would be quite repetitive. Also would make the videos quite long, but I think it can be really, really helpful. Okay, that's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.